me, Renee. I'm back. So today I decided to do a little talk video. A little just video just talking about something. And I suppose it's a bit controversial. Well, it's not controversial per se, but it's like I want to have a little debate, a little discussion. Hopefully you'll comment so we'll do this. Anyway, so my thinking this video is all about why books. And you're like, what? It's a booktube channel. What are you doing? Just hang with me here. Hang with me here. So the thing is, often when people say they love books, love to read, they say they love to read because they want to be entertained. Sometimes they go a step further and say escapism. Sometimes they go. Sometimes they say they want to learn something new. And that those are very well and valid reasons, really. Nothing against those. But devil's advocate here. Devil's advocate. You could easily say those reasons for loving films or TV series. Those reasons you can't solely apply to books. So I'm asking you, why books? This topic actually got into my head last year, because I was applying for jobs, and because I love to read, obviously, and because I did a degree in library and information science. I wanted to get a job in the library, but I also wanted to get a job in a bookstore. So I applied mostly for jobs in a bookstore and libraries. I also went around asking, do you need a temp? Do you need someone to work in the weekends, someone part time, etc., etc. So I went around a lot, and then I sorry, then I also wrote some applications for some jobs that were open, and often, like sometimes they were like specified you need to this, but sometimes they're more like it's just said you have to be above 18-year-old, you need a degree in something relevant, and then it said this and this and this is preferable but not needed. So writing an application for those was kind of hard, really. And as before, sorry, as I hadn't had any relevant working experience before. Actually, the job I have at the moment is my first job. So happy. But it's my first job. So I couldn't refer to, in my last job, I learned blah, blah, blah. Or in the job I had 3 years ago, I did this and this and this. I couldn't do that. So I had to think about, okay, what do I know? What can I talk about that's relevant and that's good? So one of the things I thought about was right, well, how do I sell my love or the love for books, really? Because because it's a good way to sell in an interview, I would think at least, and also yeah, and also because when you work in a bookstore, if you get the job, when you work in a bookstore, when you work in a library, both those places, one of the main points is trying to get people to read. In a library, you want lots of people to borrow lots of books. You want them to ask for books. If you have a library and you have 2 or 3 people coming in and no one else, and they maybe are just borrowing 2 or 3 books, and you have a selection of 100 books, that's kind of sad. And you kind of want them to, branch out. You kind of want all the books to be used and read. And the same actually in a bookstore, of course. If people come, sorry, if people come into a bookstore looking for one book, maybe looking for one book to read, or maybe they're looking for a gift, and then you try to like sell them the love of books, and then they come in and like, yeah, I might get a book. I might need a book for my plane tonight. I'm playing jury, and then they come in and you say you should read books because blah blah blah, and you're just so enthusiastic and you have all the arguments, well, then they might walk out with two bags full of books and, bags for books for the rest of their life in plane journeys because a lot of people use planes a lot. Uh, I'm saying this example because my bookstore is actually close to the train station, and some people come by there before they take the train to the airport or before they go to the airport because the airport bus is also, yeah, because my bookstore is in right jab in center really. So yeah, knowing how to just share the love of reading is really valuable. And honestly, it was kind of tricky for me last year to write write applications and say why I love reading and why people should love reading. Because as I said, loving to be entertained and wanting to learn, well, you can learn other ways as well. You don't need to be entertained by reading, and you don't need to be entertained by be learning by reading. Really, in the end, I suppose I kind of went with the old, so old, but it's kind of, well, it's in a way the old argument of uh, yes, you can be entertained other ways, but reading is the only way you'll make your own pictures. And reading is it's such a fun, solitary activity. Like a lot of things you do day to day. Uh, your family is like full people. Well, full people. So most people have some fullness in the family. Even if you're only child, you have sets of parents. You have cousins, third cousins, etc., etc. You have lots of people in school, lots of people uh, at work. You might, if you're lucky, have lots of friends. So, and often a lot of things that you do, you kind of have to do with people, like in collaboration. Like the meals you do when you're young, you have them with your family. Most people do at least. I suppose it depends, but yeah. When you go to class, there's like a big classroom full of people. You have to collaborate with them. So often in day-to-day life, really, you always have to meet people and collaborate with people. Okay, I'm realizing I'm sounding a bit uh, antisocial, psychopathic here, but bear with me. Um, so just sitting there doing something by yourself, with yourself, it's kind of nice change of pace. And I've heard other people say this as well. So it's not just me. Like, it's kind of nice just to do something with yourself, for yourself. It's you and the book. And it's not like you have to think about what would John and Mary and when do John and Mary have time to do X and Y. No, I mean it's just you in the book, so you don't have to like if you're watching a movie, you have to find a DVD or Blu-ray player or just a TV. No, just a PC. But like maybe your friend is boring the PC, maybe your PC is broke for some reason, broken. Yeah, it's a book. I suppose there's lots of different like, but a pocket or paperback book. There's no battery to it. You don't have to find something to put it into. It's just opening and reading it. It's so simple. And today's life, today's everyday world. It's very nice to have things simple. So yeah, I went with the old solidarity thing of you and a book, but also the idea that you make pictures in your head. When you watch TV series, the pictures come to you. There's the pictures, there's the sound. Uh, yeah, you have all those given to you, uh, and yeah, everything. While reading, it gives you. Well, I suppose some authors give you lots of descriptions, and some give you less. But even actually, with me, actually, even authors that give you lots of description, like they tell you that the character is tall and has brown hair and orange eyes. Sometimes I imagine short people with blue eyes because that's kind of what the essence, what kind of like the character's actions are like. giving me, like the impressions I'm getting from them, really. And yeah, I just kind of think it's just so fun to like make up those images in your head. Make images in your head, like that meme of where it says, where haha, I love to just take a book and hallucinate for lots of hours, because that's kind of what you're doing if you're reading a book and you're really into it. You're hallucinating a premise, hallucinating a plot. Such a strange thing to do, really, but it's also such a wonderful, fun, unique experience. At least that's what I think. I'm always saying that, but sometimes you feel it takes your world. You have to say it again and again. It's what I think. It's what I think. My opinion. I know not everyone's gonna agree. And and actually, another point to this debate, really, why books, is actually was a few weeks ago in October. Yeah, October, I think. Sorry. There was this book fair in Frankfurt, Germany. Now I'm being stupid. At least it's in Frankfurt, the city, Frankfurt. This world book fair where people from all over come, and there's like this book fair where I think it's actually the biggest book fair in the whole world, really, because it's for both children books and adult books, and it's for non-fiction and fiction and everything, really. And that lasted for, I think, 1 week. And actually, Norway was actually the the country in focus, the country that was like the main country. So that Norway had like a whole area for itself, and Norwegian books were like represented for highly represented and stuff. So of course, in Norwegian media, we talked a lot about it. We had a Norwegian radio over there and stuff, and they sometimes, well, they once talked about like why books, why not movies, why not TV, why books? And actually, sorry, actually one of the points, one of the people in the debates, yeah, I don't think it was the host. I think it was just one of the people that were talking to in, what, during the debates or the talk. They said actually that, well, since books are 100 plus pages, you have you have to concentrate while you're reading it. It's not like well, a lot of other stuff in your day-to-day life today. Like you can, if you're watching a movie, maybe the movie. Well, if you're watching on TV, you'll have lots of breaks here and there because commercials, or if you're listening to radio and there's lots of breaks because the songs are short, and then you have commercials and stuff. There's often lots of breaks and stuff. While in books, well, you have breaks. I mean, you have chapters. Most books have, but like you have like a huge one. Well, huge, like a certain amount of pages for one story, or one segment of story if it's a series. So you have to concentrate on that story. Even though, yeah, of course, you can read a bit and then put it down and read it later on. But like, it's if you read a book, say 250 pages, during 2 weeks, 1 week, depends how fast you read. Then you're finished this opus, this thing of magnitude, because you concentrated on one thing for 2 weeks. It's kind of, in today's world where lots of things you do, lots of things are short, and you're always interrupted. Concentrating on one thing for a set of amount of time, it's really valuable, really, because that gives you the words, that gives you the practice in concentration. You learn to concentrate, and concentration is a really valuable thing in the whole world today, in your life, to be able to concentrate on stuff. So important. I think there's some research that says after the smartphone came out 2009, 7, 6, something like that. After that came, our brains are getting dumber in some way because of all the commercials and all the uh, abrupt pauses and stuff. So the book that has a story at a certain amount of pages, one story, it's really valuable that way, really concentrating on one thing, no commercials. And yeah, I suppose you can say it has pauses because you can stop it and it has chapters, of course, but like you understand what I mean. I hope, hopefully. So yeah, so that was kind of my deep dive into why books. Even though my answer generally for why books is I love to be entertained, but I also uh, love to be immersed in another character's world. I love both fantasy because it gets you into a totally different world, but I also like contemporary because it shows you aspects of today's of this world that you're not familiar with. Well, because some books are very familiar to because like if it's an author that's written something from your part of the world and from someone your age, it's very relatable. Like it's very close and familiar. But still, like most books aren't 100% you, so you always get something new. So that's really fun to get your life, get experience something new. Really, I think at least. But also something relatable. I'm like, oh yeah, that action was something I would do. That was something I would do. And I was also about to say something else. I had an idea. Yeah, now I'm blanking. Anyway, now to you. Why do you read? Do you read because entertainment? Do you read because escapism? You want to learn something new? How would you argue the value of reading to people? Hmm, a bit of conundrum, isn't it? Anyway, that was my small talk. I might stir some controversy in the booktube, but also, I suppose I wasn't saying like you shouldn't read book. I was just books. I was just saying like why? How would you argue it? And yeah, Renee out.